Howdy, I'm the Chinese Zodiac Killer, and at this point, I'm not fazed at all by being censored by everyone from the federal government to TikTok. 2 days ago, I posted what had possibly been my most successful video yet as a relatively new content creator. Unfortunately, TikTok censored my video for misinformation, and my appeal was denied, which was surprising as every other appeal I have submitted over videos that have been censored had been approved. I even provided an explanation. What was my censored video about, you ask? My video discussed as to why I believed a considerable number of people believed that the hurricanes were engineered by the government. Enough of a considerable amount of people so that Biden himself addressed the issue on television. Now, I did not claim the hurricanes were engineered, but instead addressed why I believed was the root cause of why a lot of people have this suspicion. And that is, in my opinion, because the government has such an extensive history of human rights abuses, including against its own citizens, that it has lost credibility with a large percentage of the population. To provide examples, I listed how I had heard that the government supposedly poisoned alcohol during Prohibition, as well as Operation Northwoods and Operation Sea Spray. As far as I knew, all these examples have legitimate historical accuracy, although I should point out that, fortunately, Operation Northwoods was apparently dismissed by JFK. Yet, supposedly, it was presented for implementation. Check these three historical events out for more details and educate yourselves. Lastly, I pointed that at least from my understanding, the U.S. supposedly incarcerates more people than any other country in the world, here in the land of the free. As far as I knew, the data proves this, although technically I have read that we are perhaps tied with China in these numbers, yet because China has far more people, that would mean that if this is true per capita, the U.S. would therefore be number one. I likewise pointed out that I had read that the first person ever convicted of marijuana possession got 5 years in prison for 2 joints, as an example of harsh punishment towards its own citizens. Now, this is all stuff I have read and heard online many times. That doesn't mean that it is true, or all true, or isn't all true. Certainly I don't want to spread false information, but from my understanding, it all appears to be true. Nonetheless, for whatever reason, despite my efforts to try and make it clear in my last video that all these things I had read and heard online, in conjunction with my opinions as to the legitimacy of these supposed facts, was why my video was censored and banned. Now, again, the purpose of the video was not to say that the hurricanes were engineered, but that the reason so many people believe this is because, for one, the technology to create, alter, and control at least some weather does apparently exist. I've seen this discussed in the news. And that the government has lost credibility with a large percentage of people due to past behavior. Likewise, as I often do, I included my offer to take responsibility for our world's problems if I can ever go viral enough to convince enough of the American people to wish to write my name in for Commander-in-Chief. Returning freedom to mankind and protecting the earth would be my number one priorities. So feel free to write me in on election day. Jesse Bartlett, the Chinese Zodiac Killer. While I certainly don't have the support to win this election, the symbolic kick in the nuts to the ruling elite is worth it in itself. Don't even get me started on where the line is drawn between the First Amendment right to free speech and a social media platform's right to dictate what can and can't be said. That's another discussion for another time. So what do you think? Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Check out my past video content before they censor that too. And as always, don't touch that dial. More content comes nearly every day. I try to create cutting-edge subject matter. After all, I'm not going to go viral and get written in by making crazy cat videos. I don't have a cat anymore, and there's too much competition anyway. better to be a social media rebel. Support freedom of speech. Make my content go viral. Tell everyone you know. Join us.